you stick that guy into. Put it over the little nozzle in there. And it'll start spitting at you when it's full. So you're going to need a fire brick. And this is not like fire brick that goes into a stove. I can actually hold this in my hand and torch fire because it transfers no heat at all. Okay. I like to put a little protection around the area because sometimes your piece will, if you bump it, it might fall off, and I don't want it to sink into the plastic and be a permanent part of the desk. So this has a base. Some of them have bases, some of them have, pieces base so it doesn't come off. If you have a loose base, go ahead and take it off because you don't want it to fall off in the middle and kind of scare you. So you're going to need a timer. We're going to set it for a minimum of 2 minutes. You can go 4 or 5 minutes, whatever, just so you don't melt your piece. Okay. May I use one of your earrings? Okay.
You can use both of them.
No. Okay.
Very pretty.
And if I could get somebody to turn off the lights for me.
Would we turn them off at home as well?
You just want a lower light situation until you get used to doing this so you can see the colors that you're looking for.
Okay.
Okay, so every torch is going to start differently. This one's kind of a little bit of a pain because it's got this little latch right here, which is kind of a child-proof thing. So you got to push in and roll your thumb down until it clicks. And then it usually won't start on the first firing. So you have to do it again. When you get a flame, you hold in, settle down, push in continuous, and then you can let go, and it's going to run. You got your regulator here, just how much oxygen gets in there, so it's going to regulate whether it's a big fluffy flame or just a nice sharp flame.
Do you want to see any gold at the very tip?
No.
Okay.
And you don't want to hold it down this way because all the heat comes back up and gets this really hot, and it could eventually melt this area. So you just want to hold it at a nice 45. Once you start this, you do not want to stop the motion of the torch.
Gonna set your timer?
Not yet. So we're just going to continuously move. It doesn't have to be rapid because you lose a lot of heat that way. Just slowly going across the piece. You can do figure eights or around it and just kind of play with it just so you get the whole thing. So this is the binder burning off.
Okay.
Now what you're going to be able to see here is the actual shrinking, and because this is a flat piece, it's going to want to start curling up. But this is the color I'm looking for. I want to see this kind of orangey, rosy color. Now I'm going to start my timer. Now I'm going to maintain that color for 2 minutes, or however long you want to go for this.
Wow.
My friend from South Africa does 4 minutes. So. But you don't want to get too intense on this. You don't want this to be a real neon because then you're really close to melting. You don't ever want to see anything shiny because then you have melted it. So you just want to keep moving. And the way you regulate your temperature is by your distance. So you can come in or move out. And you see how when I moved away from it, it turned white?
Yeah.
You don't want that. That means it's cooled off. So we just want to maintain.
What happens if you see it get shiny, or the things you said you don't want to see?
Okay, so the thing that you want to do if you're torch firing is you're going to want to make yourself about a dozen pieces. Line them up and torch fire them. Try to melt them. Try to melt the first couple of ones so you can see what is too intense of a color. Because what's going to happen, the first thing that's going to happen when this wants to start to melt is it's going to get like a neon orange. It's going to get really bright. And then you're going to see this flash of silver go across it. At that point, if you can pull back and just maintain the color without any further melting, it's almost like you've polished it. It comes out shiny. You haven't wrecked any of the design. But if that starts looking like mercury, finish the firing and then break it up into little pieces and melt it into balls and use it on your next piece as
Are you
decoration.
on the backside burning?
That's what I wondered, back or front?
I guarantee you it is hot all the way through.
Oh.
So it doesn't matter if you're
No,
on the back.
it does not matter.
And it'll maintain its shape, the little curves you put in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Now, if it was something really curved, like some of your pieces that are in the kiln, I would go ahead and throw a little bit of that fiber blanket underneath it, just to help it, because it is going to want to. Okay, so now we can throw it in the water and quench it. It's done. It's silver. This is great for small pieces, little charms, nothing larger than a 50-cent piece, and nothing real long and thin, because while this end's getting hot, that end's cooling off, so that's really difficult to do. It's great for repair work. You still have to get the whole piece hot and still have to fire it for at least the 2 minutes, but it's much quicker than putting it in the kiln. My personal preference on a bunch of firing is the kiln. I really like, you know, I feel more secure with that firing than I do with this one, but this is a real important one to know about. Okay, so then we're just gonna, so many tweezers here, but just throw it in the water and quench it, and it's ready to go.
To go where?
In the tumbler.
In the tumbler.
Just give me some cup of water there. Here's a big cup.
If any of you
That's got some
newbies
baking soda.